Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Victor. This is Jack. What's on your mind today?
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the news about January 6th. Tucker released, basically Kevin McCarthy, the new Speaker of the House, gave a bunch of video footage to Fox News, so Tucker was able to review it. He released videos that literally exonerate people who are in prison for multiple years, like the Q shaman right now. And then Mitch McConnell came out with what we're about to show you, which is his statement about it, where he says in a very slow, boring way, which we're not going to play for you, that he totally supports the Capitol Police and everything that these federal agents, the chief of the Capitol Police, say happened, not the videos that show you what your lying eyes see. And so here's what Mitch McConnell said.
It was a mistake, in my view, for Fox News to depict this in a way that's completely at variance with what our chief law enforcement official here at the Capitol thinks.
Okay, so before we get into the propaganda angle of this, just to poke a hole in how McConnell is presenting this, he's putting all of his supposed faith in federal agents. And as we've shown here over and over again, you can look at Oklahoma City bombing, Waco, and Ruby Ridge, that the federal, just because you're a federal agent doesn't mean you're an angel. You could be some of the most terrible people.
You likely to be.
Yeah, the odds are good.
Right.
Right.
Because you've joined this, like you joined the ATF because you want to take away people's constitutional rights.
Right.
Like, shall not be infringed, but how many times can we infringe it and kill your dog as we raid your home in the middle of the night? Probably the wrong house number.
Right.
And the wrong dog.
Right.
But yeah, that's a great point.
Okay.
Federal agents, we're out.
Right.
And so when you look at this, it's like, okay, so this is just propaganda, right? And this reminds me of the story of Donald Trump. There were good people on both sides.
Okay.
So Charlottesville, you probably know the story. And there were some white nationalist groups. And then there was a whole thing, and then a car, and then one lady died. And there was a whole thing. And then Trump came out, he was president at the time, came out and made a statement. And he said there were very fine people on both sides, not the neo-Nazis. They should be condemned at all times, but there were very fine people on both sides. They cut out the 2 commas, clipped it, and there's millions and millions and millions of Americans who vote, some of them, and they think that he called the neo-Nazis very fine people.
Right.
And there's video evidence proving that that's not the case. In the same sentence, he disproved their narrative. And my point is, propaganda is so incredibly effective that millions of people still believe it, despite there being video evidence.
Yeah. This just popped in my head. In China, they have, everyone knows that the media is controlled by the government.
Right.
And they laugh at us. Their people laugh at us because they know it's as bad here as it is there. The only difference is the people are aware of it there. So they just discount everything.
Right.
Where here, we're trying to figure out how to break through to people to basically be like the Chinese people.
Right. Because we made a video about this before, but we're more controlled because we just don't know that all the corporate media, it's just a propaganda wing for the system.
Correct.
That's it. Not for the Republicans, not for the Democrats. They want you to think that there's a false dichotomy there that, Fox News is for the Republicans. No, they're owned by the Murdochs. Come on. It's not true. Okay, so we also want to talk about the Gelman amnesia effect. Do you want to explain it?
Yeah, sure. So this amnesia effect is basically, he proposed that if you open up a newspaper, back in the day when the news came on a newspaper every day, you read the first article. It's an article that's on a subject that you happen to be an expert on. So you read through it, you get to the end, and your mind is blown because nothing in it is correct. Because you're a master of this. This is wrong. The article's wrong. And so you just, you can't believe you wasted your time. You go to the next article. It's something you are not an expert on. You read through it, and your conclusion at the end is, wow, that was really interesting. The reaction from the first one the first article should have discounted the second article. You should have come to the same conclusion that if they didn't know anything in this first one, why am I believing the second article?
Right. There should be no credibility remaining.
Right.
And so a lot of people, they watch these news channels and they've seen complete and total fabricated stories, intentional lies. They've seen this. And then they go back to the same news channel and they say, oh, what's happening in Ukraine? We should stand with you. Okay, maybe not. But don't believe anything they say because you've just got to be wiser.
At least be skeptical. and go, I need to check this out, but just believing it wholeheartedly is ridiculous.
Right. It's probably the opposite. It's highly likely, probability wise, that it's the opposite. Whatever stand with the thing, or whatever they say, do the opposite, whatever they're saying.
Right. You'll probably end up being closer to reality than if you start with their position.
Right. And so, I mean, you're watching this video, so maybe you're already highly skeptical, and hopefully you understand that the corporate media is just the propaganda wing of the system. But also, you might be a person who's like, oh, those Republicans, we're going to tear down this system. The Federal Reserve's gone tomorrow. Yeah, vote harder. Yeah, it's going good. Look at Mitch McConnell, for goodness sakes. And there are some young House members and senators in the Republican Party who you can look at and say, wow, they're pretty good. But when we're talking about positions of power here,
right,
and those have to prove themselves in the long run as they make an effect, not just have committee hearings where they say some zingers and get a little clip that you like, which I like the zingers too.
But nothing ever happens.
Right. Right. Stuff happens if Mitch McConnell. And so you could refute me here and say, but the new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, did let the videos out, which they had been hiding. The January, interesting. I don't know if you know the story, but when they went to the Capitol Police and said, hey, okay, Kevin McCarthy said we can get the videos, let's get the videos. And so they said, okay, but could you please just let us review anything you're going to publish, please, so that we could just see if there's any security risk, like a door or access, you know what I mean? And then Fox News asked the Capitol Police, okay, and how did that go with the January 6th committee? Like, how did that work, And they said, oh, no, the January 6th committee didn't ask for any videos. They
Wow.
didn't. So we think, like, oh, there was a conspiracy. They got the videos. They hid the truth. They made a complete lie show trial thing. Nope. Didn't even care to review the videos, even just out of just random curiosity.
No. Because it's all about the narrative.
Right. I'm just so curious. I'm like, okay, so I'm paid $172,000 a year to be in the House and lie about this, and I'm a terrible, unscrupulous person. I still kind of want to see the videos. You know what I mean? No, not even that.
Yeah.
Just committed to being trash.
Right.
So, in general, if you think that the Republicans or the Democrats are the way out, you're being tricked.
Yes.
If you think that certain news channel in the corporate media stands for Republicans or Democrat values, you're being tricked.
Yep.
And propaganda is so incredibly... Okay, what is the nature of our entire channel in relation to propaganda?
Well, it's about learning to think for yourself, ultimately, and be able to be at least skeptical, question things, search for truth on your own.
Right. Okay. And so there's things we don't know that we're still propagandized
100%.
by. And if you know those things, put them in the comments of any of his videos. I read all the comments, So I'm not saying that we're the arbiters of truth.
Totally.
But on the other hand, I'll make a challenge with you right now. You go to our video playlist and start scrolling through the names, right? And you'll see something like Ruby Ridge, and you'll be like, yeah, I know about that. They're terrible. They murdered that kid, that mom. Okay, cool. And then you'll scroll a little bit farther and you'll be like, oh, no, that video's not true. I'm not going to click on that one. Because you're under the propaganda of that video.
Right.
And so we might be under propaganda, and we want the comments to see where we're missing, but we want you to have an open mind enough to look at the video history. And there's some stuff I guarantee you will blow your mind in there.
Yeah, and it's almost a reverse Gelman thing. If we've earned your trust on these videos, maybe we're also right about these other ones.
That's a very good point.
Just right.
Yeah. Wow, that's an interesting principle. I like it. Okay.
The Victor Jack principle.
Okay.
It shall be therefore known.
Okay. Jack Victor. Yeah.
Oh, my
no,
bad.
because I totally thought of that. Okay.
Right. Cool. So hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully you're understanding that Republicans are not the answer. Voting harder in a broken system is not the answer. And please question everything you're seeing coming out of the system, the propaganda arm, and all of it. Can't wait to see you next time.